There we
There
go.
we go. What's up, guys? Another episode of Off the Post. I'm your host, DJ Rick. With some special guests today, which I will introduce shortly. And another one of our people are just having technical difficulties, so if they pop in, don't be surprised. As you know, being live and everything, anything can happen. So she might be here shortly. She might not. We'll see. Hopefully, she can get that worked out and her computer is okay. We're going to go introduce everyone. I'll start with Jen, and then we'll talk to our special guests, and they can tell you where they're from, what they do, and some things they like to eat or drink. Let's go with Jen first. How are you,
Uh,
Jen?
it's just been one of those weeks that you just like, can we get a mulligan on the whole damn thing?
This is true. This is
So,
true.
yeah, but glad that's all over and done with, and we can look forward to Wednesday.
Yeah, it sounds very painful how you're talking, so we'll get to that shortly. Let's move on to our special guests. How are you
Honestly,
guys doing today?
we're doing great because all of our teams won, or
Mm.
mostly won.
None of our teams lost.
None of our teams lost. There we go. I guess we should introduce. I'm Jessica. Katie. We're from the Four Kicks podcast. We cover the Canadian women's national team and also the NWSL.
Nice. So you are actually in Canada right now, yes?
We are in Canada right now.
So I have to change up things. We're going to have to put on the Canadian hat for us. As you all can see, we will do things like that today. Just make our guests feel at home, shall we now? All right. Very good.
Love it.
And we'll make sure to tell you guys at the end of the episode where you can find them, and we'll tweet out links and everything. So they're pretty cool people, and you should listen to what they have to say. All right, so let's jump right into the NWSL action. And we're going to start first with one game that I know a lot of you enjoyed, minus Jen, Spirit versus Flash. So Jen, starting with you tell us.
Do what now? You cut it out for part of that.
I cut out. Just start off telling us what you thought about this game.
I'm so frustrated by this game because of all the chances the Flash created. I think we had, 12 shots on goal and a million other shots, and we got one goal out of it. I thought we were past that. I thought they had fixed that problem. So the fact that we had all those chances and were not able to come through with the 3 points was really, really frustrating. And I hope Paul Riley gets it fixed before we drop more points and the playoffs are gone. So that part was really frustrating. And Sabrina D'Angelo, I love you. I have you as my avatar. You're one of my favorite players. But what on earth was that? Seriously. If you're going to come charging out for the ball, you have to get it, or what could happen will happen. So it was just another one of those things. It's like, young keeper, got a lot of potential, but you got to deal with the stupid crap like that before they get to their peak or whatever. So that part was also frustrating. As far as the game itself, it's actually kind of choppy. I mean, not choppy in like a bunch of fouls called, a bunch of stop and starts. It's just, it didn't seem like either team was able to really get into a rhythm. You'd have they'd connect one or two passes and then turn it over, and this was both teams. Washington had their problems as well. They were having difficulty dealing with the Flash's high pressure, like a lot of teams have done this season. So, bit of a sloppy game. Crystal Dunn, I think, actually started off really well. She and Hinkle were having quite the battle on the outside, and Dunn got the better of it at the beginning, but I think as the game wore on and she started to get a little tired, she wasn't able to beat Hinkle as well as she had been. So that was kind of I think maybe she should have come out maybe a little bit earlier. I didn't understand why when Gabara made the substitution, why he took Shayna Williams out, because I thought she had done well. I don't know if it was maybe for squad rotation because, with all these games in a short amount of time, maybe he's trying to keep her fresh. And the one thing is, Stengel gets criticized a lot for shall we say, lack of pace. But she kind of makes up for that with her positioning, and she did that. She used what little pace she does have to make a perfectly timed run to get past Kennedy on that goal, and basically made both Kennedy and D'Angelo look like fools, which it's kind of hard to do because I think Kennedy's one of the best defenders in the league, but she did not look good on that play.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, the Spirit did have their chances. I mean, Crystal Dunn had two really great chances right off the top of the bat. That one where Nairn just put her through with a perfect ball that she should have put away, even though it was kind of a bad angle. I really think she should have sunk that one. And then there was another one where she kind of got forced out wide, but it was another good opportunity. I think as far as the flash goal, maybe it was a little bit of karma for Soccer God saying, oh, we made a mistake here, have it back, because I've watched that replay a couple dozen times, and the angle's not really good, so you can't really tell if it did. But I'm not 100% sure if that ball that Nairn headed off the line went in, so I don't know. It was a moot point about 30 seconds later when Lewis had that shot that I really think Kelsey Weiss could have done better to keep that out. So it was pretty much goals decided on keeper errors. And overall, it was, like I said, a choppy game. Felt like a bit of a playoff game with two teams kind of nervous, not wanting to make the mistakes. So it was not as fluid as it liked, but I still really enjoyed it as a game, even though the result was kind of frustrating.
Sounds good. Now let's move to Katie and or Jessica. Your thoughts?
Oh yeah, there we go. Unmute that. I thought, it was a really entertaining game. I thought it was choppy. There was a lot of back and forth, but there were a lot of opportunities for goal scoring, and it seemed like both teams had a real issue finishing, and
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I thought Weiss came up huge several times. Like that. Western New York could have had, I don't know how many goals they could have had, but Weiss came up really, really huge. So for her to make one mistake, which led to a goal,
it happens.
It happens, but it wasn't like a massive mistake. So yeah, I really like Weiss in goal, even though the Canadian LeBay is back, and I would obviously love to see her in goal again. But Kelsey Weiss has been fantastic.
Yeah, she has.
And she has a lot of familiarity with that back line, which has had quite a bit of changes since LeBay's been around. So I'm not surprised to really see her there. As for I don't know. I'm really glad to see Dunn back. She has a hell of a lot of assists for Washington.
Yeah.
I think Washington did really, really well while the national teamers were gone. But Dunn just adds another threat, which is good because now Bonini is out with that injury.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty big loss for Washington. It's hard to replace, I think. So, yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on D'Angelo and her, the follies of youth, shall we say. That's something that as, Canadian national fans, we're extremely used to seeing a lot of that.
And she did that in the Zimbabwe game. The goal that they gave up against Zimbabwe, it was D'Angelo coming out when she probably shouldn't have come out.
That was at the Olympics, yeah.
Yeah, at the Olympics.
Yeah, so I just want to say, we're used to that. We still love her.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it would have been nice. We're Washington fans. So
yeah, it would have been nice to close out that game without letting in that goal.
It's
but
okay. We're still at top.
Yeah. I mean, they clinched the playoff spot with that draw.
Right.
Ultimately, we are happy.
A quick question for you guys on that. Do you think that when Washington got the lead, that they went into a protect, like a bunker type situation? Do you think they went into that too early? Once
Yeah,
New
because
York
then they
scored,
subbed
they
in
couldn't get the
Zadorsky.
offense back.
Yeah, they subbed into Zadorsky, so they had like 5 defenders in. I thought maybe just a little bit too early.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like they did it when was it around like the 60th minute. I thought they should have still been trying to have a real offensive punch. Yeah. Until at least the 75th minute.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. Sorry, I was still like looking out for what was being said with the computer. Okay, we are going to go to next the Dash versus Pride. This is an interesting game. I knew the guy who ran on the field.
What?
No, I didn't. I lied, but you all believed me. As Jim knew not to fall for
that poster at Portland then.
But we're going to start with you guys first for kicks. What was your thoughts on that game?
I called that Sinky goal last week on a different podcast. So I was really happy to see Sink scoring. And because Boston really came out on fire, I thought. They were playing really, really well. And it wasn't until it seemed like Portland was playing long balls because Boston was playing really, really high with their back line and then pressing the midfield. But if anyone's used to long balls, it's Christine Sinclair. That's what she does, or that's what she had to do on the national team for a very long time. And then she played it extremely well, got a great corner, and then just sunk it off that set piece. And then I thought after that, the momentum of the game really, really changed, and it was all in favor of Portland for the rest of it. But I mean, that being said, I thought Boston played pretty well against Portland for a lot of that game. Like if you compared the team that played, like that Boston team that just played Portland to Boston earlier in the season, that Boston would have kicked the other Boston's ass. Even though they lost that game 5-1, they still look way better than they do or they did earlier in the season. And I mean, Natasha Dowie has just really like breathed life into that offense, I think.
Nope, I agree with that. Yeah, that's the one thing I've noticed about Dowie. They do seem like they're a little bit more energized, even though they still taking what looks like a heavy defeat. The team just looks better, and I guess other teams have gotten better too. So it's hard to really put into see exactly how good they are. But I mean, most of us can look at them at the beginning of the season, look at them now, say they're a better team, even though they're still losing, because a lot of teams have gotten better too that were already better than them.
Yeah.
Jen, some of your thoughts?
It was a good point about Boston, not quitting like they did when the Flash beat them 7-1. They totally quit on that game. I don't know if it's because they got Natasha Dowie or if it's because they no longer have that I think was maybe a negative presence that an unhappy Steph McCaffrey had, or if it was a combination of both. I'm still trying to decide, what it is, but they do look better. Yeah, I expected a heavy defeat in that game. I mean, there was just too much quality on Portland, and while Boston has a couple of good players, there's just not enough quality overall, so kind of had to expect that result. As far as, there was a big deal made about the signing of Eunice Beckman, and she really hasn't worked out. I mean, international signings are always going to be a crapshoot. You never know how they're going to go. I mean, you could have a player that no one's heard of come in and just tear it up. You could have a player that everybody has heard of come in and fall on their face. And, it was kind of a hyped signing. It hasn't really worked out. But her service to Julie King on King's goal was perfect. I mean, maybe Betos could have done a little bit better on that, but she could not have hit that to King any better. It was just absolutely on the money. Gorgeous service. So that was a nice consolation goal, I guess, for Boston, not getting completely shut out. So, and I mean, it's a little thing. Although I do think if maybe they had played Angela Salem, maybe gone just a little bit more defensively in the midfield instead of maybe Mewis or Shilgard, I don't think the score would have been quite as high because it would have probably limited Portland a little bit more. So, yeah, maybe that was a bit of a mistake. Although I don't know if Beard was going for like with Gabara, maybe going for some rotation to keep Angela Salem fresh. Don't know. Maybe we'll see her when they host the Flash. And now what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, not Indian scoring a hat trick like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if that last goal should have counted. I thought it should have maybe been waved off for a foul because it looked like she fouled whoever it was. I think it might have been King. I'm not sure, but kind of went into her really hard, and maybe on another day that gets waved off as a foul. But she got the hat trick. Her second one, first one to get multiple hat tricks, second one of the season, also against Boston. So good game for her because I think before the Olympic break, she'd been kind of getting lost in the shuffle a little bit, having all these stars around her. But she stepped up after that and has been been playing a little bit better, playing more to what we saw from her when she came in with Sky Blue a couple seasons ago. So
Right.
that'll be interesting to see if she can keep it up or if she fades back away with and maybe see others take over like Sinclair. So that'll be really interesting to watch. So expected result, Portland didn't really look too terribly threatened, one or two opportunities. So it's a nice, comfortable win for them and momentum they needed after losing to Seattle so badly.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's move on to a game where everyone's going crazy about one player, and that is the Houston Dash versus Orlando Pride. You can guess which player everyone's going crazy about lately. We're going to start with you first, Jen. Thoughts, comments, concerns on this game?
Kalia Ohai, Kalia Ohai, Kalia Ohai. Can we give a hand to the girl because she is absolutely killing it.
All right, so are we giving hands? Yes, all right, let's give
Where
hands.
was this Kalia Ohai at the beginning of the season? She did nothing for the first half. And then all of a sudden she scores against Portland. It was like the floodgates open, and now she's scoring seemingly whenever the hell she feels like it. She was just amazing. And if we're not talking about Cleo High, we're talking about Carly Lloyd. A lot of talk about her for not always on the field reasons, but you can tell there's a difference between the Dash when they have Carly Lloyd versus the Dash when they don't have Carly Lloyd.
Yeah.
A lot of those spaces that opposition were able to close down, now all of a sudden they got Carly Lloyd to worry about, so that frees up Ohai, Becky, Daly, whoever's on that front line to make those runs that they weren't able to make when Lloyd wasn't there. So she had a good game, even though she didn't score. She had a really good game overall, had some really nice back heels and whatnot. She had that pass to set up Becky's goal. It's like, I don't know what the Pride were doing on that. It was like everybody was just like, oh, I thought you had her. No, I thought you had her. And Becky's just like, oh, you want to let me score? Okay, fine. Fine, I'll take this one. I'll give my team the lead. So, another good game from Carly Lloyd. Janine Becky, another goal. She's been on another good tear since the Olympics. Orlando. I thought until maybe when they scored that trick goal that they looked like they had kind of given up, and it was more of a, we're not going to win. We might as well try this to see if it's going to work. And, they put it in and like, oh, it actually worked. We can score, and then you could see it. There was a difference between before they scored that goal and after they scored that goal. After they'd scored that goal, they were, looking like, oh, maybe we can do this. And then they get another one, and if you're a Houston fan, you're sitting there sweating like, oh, God, is this going to be another situation where we're going to give up late goals and come away with another draw? But it was that player again, Ohai, saying, not this time, bitches. This ain't happening again. And she just I mean, she's amazing. You run out of words to describe her. I know that's a little cliche, but it's true. She's been absolutely on fire ever since that first goal. So as far as Orlando, they got a lot of work to do in the offseason. Defensively, they're a mess. Midfield, there is no creative spark whatsoever. They have hard workers, but where's that player to make that one pass or pull off that insane move to open up a defense? And it's basically Alex Morgan on an island by herself, which is not a recipe for success. So I think in the offseason they're going to have to maybe look at signing some players. They don't have a first-round draft pick, which is kind of a shame because this is a really, really strong class. They could use a player like a Keisha Buchanan or a Savannah Jordan or even a Rose Lavelle to put that creative spark in the midfield. They're not going to get that unless they get another first-round draft pick. So I don't know what they're going to do. International players are limited, so there's not going to be a lot of options there, but they're definitely going to need to figure something out.
Well, they'll sell a lot of jerseys next year to say have Alex Morgan. Let's go to you guys, Katie and Jessica. What were your thoughts of that game?
Do you have thoughts? I mean, obviously we second that Ojai is just on an insane run, and it's awesome to see. I think she's really, really grown into that captaincy. If I was Randy Waldrum, I would have never have given Carly Lloyd the captain's armband just because she's going to be away so often. And sure, Kay is really, really young, but she's going to be there all year.
Yep.
But that being said, I love having Carly Lloyd back in their midfield. I mean, their midfield really, really struggled once she had an injury. And then they seem to kind of get something going, but she just adds a dynamic to that midfield. Like, they seem to pass better. Yep. They seem to find better passing lanes. And then, who isn't terrified of Carly Lloyd barreling down on you? Because she can score from almost anywhere. And then it allows Ojai and Becky or Daly or Obagagu, whoever is a striker, it just allows them a bit more freedom. Like you saw before Lloyd was around, they would have to do a lot of midfield work when they really probably shouldn't. They're not great at it, but they are really good strikers. So I'm glad to see them doing what they're supposed to be doing with Lloyd back. And then, Orlando's just a mess. They're a mess everywhere. They're a mess defensively, offensively, in the midfield. They literally need, they need to draft something good in each one of those areas of the field. Presley as an outside back, just boggled my mind. I probably wouldn't play Presley at all, let alone as an outside back. There's not much to say except for just they're a mess currently.
I agree. I think that when the season started and Orlando being an expansion team, things were looking so bright for them. They were doing so well, and we were like, wow, for a brand new team, this is incredible. But I think the Olympic break hit them especially hard, and even before that, they were kind of starting to fall apart, and it's just been a steep decline. They're gonna have to figure something out for next year. But I agree as far as Houston goes. Love having Carly Lloyd back. She does seem to add a bit of glue to the team, and it is too bad that we weren't seeing this dash earlier in the season. They've been on a little bit of a tear lately, or at least by earlier season standards, it's been a bit of a tear, and so it's been super exciting for us as fans. We'll see.
I think Houston just it took them a while to figure out what to do without Lloyd. So that lost them a lot of the season, and then by the time they started to get rolling, Ojai really started to show what she's doing now, and then their midfield started to gel. But then you add Lloyd back in, and just this is the Houston that I've been wanting to see all season. This is the Houston that I saw in that first Chicago game, and now it seems like they're finally back. I think next week against Portland will be a really good test to see, you know, if they can fight for against the teams at the top of the table as opposed to the bottom of the table. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's weird with Houston because for the last 2 years I've been thinking this is how this team should always look out here, and it's just like every season they seem to fail me a bit, and I'm disappointed. I'm like, man, this team should be like in the playoffs or something. But now they're actually playing like it, and I hope it's like you said, it might be a little too late for them. But this is the team we think. And it's funny, I was having a discussion with someone, and they said, well, Carly Lloyd, just one player shouldn't make that much of a difference. Well, that one player does not make that much of a difference for Houston, and we all see it now because just the whole team looks different in the midfield and even going forward and everything. They just look so much smoother and faster, and they're playing the way that Randy wants them to play. So good for Houston.
Yeah.
Let's talk about FC Kansas City versus Sky Blue. If we have much to say about this one, people, we're gonna go for you first, Four Kicks. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are I shut it off halfway through because I was really, really bored. You know,
it's so.
I didn't even I was watching the game, and then Sam Kerr just suddenly scored, and I was like, I did not see that coming, but it is Sam Kerr, so it's not unexpected. But yeah, the game just kind of dragged for me. No. I was surprised there was that many goals. I thought it was going to be like a 1-0 game. Just both those teams look a little sloppy in their play. I expected Sky Blue to actually do much better than they're doing after the Olympic break. They seem to really gotten their stuff together right before the Olympic break. But they've just looked really rusty. And I think having O'Hara out really isn't helping them. Just both those teams, even though Kansas City won that one 2-1, I still don't think they're looking that great. They're looking okay enough to beat Sky Blue, but I don't think they're going to be able to pull anything off against anyone who's at the top of the standings. And I feel like that goal that Averbush scored, that was a fantastic shot. She's really good at those. But besides that, there wasn't a lot of scoring opportunities. It was a mediocre game for me.
But no, that's the norm actually between those two teams too, or whatever. I remember, like we said, we've been saying that about FC Kansas City all season. We just say they're boring to watch, and then like I said, Sky Blue's been real stagnant and slow at times. They've come out real rusty, so it's like I guess this game would be expected when these two teams kind of matched up. What were your thoughts, real quick, Jim?
Well, I also only got to see the first half because I had to switch to the Portland-Boston game because I had to live tweet it. So it's like I could only watch the first half. But, yeah, I don't know what it is about Kansas City, and I'm surprised Danielle hasn't jumped ship with all the times you call them boring. God, are they boring to watch. It's every single game. It's like maybe one or two a season they pull out something exciting, but most of the time it's just you struggle to stay awake to watch them, and their commentary doesn't help. I mean, I know the guy was thrown in at the very last minute, but still, I was so ready to. I was so glad when it came time for the Portland-Boston game, and I could switch because his, being thrown in there didn't help matters. But yeah, got to see the Averbush goal later. That was just a beautiful strike. I mean, there wasn't anything Caroline Stanley could have really done to save that. I mean, that was unstoppable. Yeah, that was not really the type of goal that Sam Kerr usually scores, but it was just beautiful. I didn't expect it. I thought it was just going to be another, half-hearted, give it a try, see what the hell happens. And she scored, great shot. Kind of woke me up a little bit, but then I started falling asleep. Yeah, Sky Blue really should have gone into the half with the lead. That goal that they give up right at halftime was inexcusable. It's just a moment of sloppy defending that, Tiffany McCarty pounced on, which is not something she usually does because she is more of a provider than a scorer. But she saw an opportunity and she went for it. So, and that was actually I read Kansas City's first ever win after falling behind. Can't believe it took almost 4 seasons, but I guess it's just a style of play. They just don't usually have that urgency to pull out results when they're behind. So good for them. As for Sky Blue, sorry DJ, but it probably cost them their last shot at the playoffs, because if they what is it? They got 3 games left and they're 6 points out. If the Flash beat Boston, they're done because they can't get over the Flash. So yeah, it's unfortunate. They made a good run of it for a while, which is better than what most of us picked, because I think most of us had them at 8th, 9th, or 10th.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a good run for them. Got something they can build on for next year. They gave us some good moments. Just don't see it happening this year. So, these boring first half, poor commentary, and next game, please.
Well, she said everything we all wanted to say, but she said it a little bit nicer. So we're going to talk about, let me give a heads up about this. So you have to tune in on Friday. Yep, I'm promoting stuff real quick. You guys can promote stuff too, for kicks. Promote away, promote away. On Friday, we're having a special guest join us, and it's from the Seattle Range. Should I tell them, Jen, who it is?
Wait, didn't we talk about the last game, the Chicago-Seattle game?
Chicago versus Seattle? No, that was
yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. But did we talk about it? We didn't talk about it yet.
We haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it yet, Jen.
Okay. No, what were you saying?
I was saying, should I tell them who our special guest is going to be on Friday?
No, let's leave that a surprise.
Okay, so tune in. It's a player from one of the 2 teams, so you got a choice to choose who it might be. So Chicago versus Seattle is the game we're going to talk about, and I don't know, I kind of enjoyed this game. We'll start with you guys first. For Kicks, your thoughts on this game?
I felt real bad for Chicago in the first 10 minutes. I thought, oh crap, this is going to be a blowout. Which, I mean, with how Seattle's been playing, and then in the first 10 minutes of the game, I was like, oh my God, they're going to get blown out by Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
But Chicago, they really just didn't have their stuff together in the first 10 minutes. And it probably took them to about the 20th minute mark before they started getting before they even got out of their half almost. And then I thought, I think pulling out a 2-2 draw just showed how that felt like a real blue collar win by Chicago. Like they just scrapped it out, and really, I was actually surprised that they were able to draw against Seattle. Chicago just looked super sloppy in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they look like the team that they are.
Yeah.
They look like Chicago. And then you had everyone firing, like Huerta, McCaffrey had a decent game. Press had a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was on fire. Seattle still Alyssa Nair was a monster that game. She was so good. It would have been a blowout if it wasn't for Alyssa Nair.
Yeah.
And Haley Kottmeyer was fantastic too, though.
Yeah, she was.
Seattle has picked the right time in the season to really pick up steam. And I think it was a really stressful game given how it started and how it looked like Chicago was playing at first, and given that, Chicago coming into this game was looking really good for a playoff spot. Seattle's really been starting to catch up. So there was a lot on the line. So there was definitely that stress factor.
Yeah.
And so, I think the fact that they came away with a draw was pretty incredible, all things considered.
Yeah, that makes Seattle's, bid for the playoffs super tough. I think I can't remember the math on it, but they have to literally win every one of their games, and then I think Chicago has to lose a couple in order for them to make the
Right.
playoffs. So I felt like this was kind of the nail in the coffin for Seattle, even though they're on a hell of a, a hell of a run. So.
Nope, I agree with all of that, definitely. Jen, thoughts?
Well, I actually only got to see the highlights of this because it was on at the same time as the Portland Boston
Right.
game. And I'm really mad that they didn't put Seattle's second goal in there. I don't know why. I mean, most of their highlights put in all the goals, so that was a bit of a confusing choice. But from what I did see, Nair had some really great saves.
Mhm.
Just and honestly, Merritt Mathias, what were you doing on that play to give up that penalty? So unnecessary. That cost Seattle those 2 points, and if they do not make the playoffs, I think they can point back to that and say this is probably where our playoff hopes went to die. It was just something so stupid that you would expect from a player with little experience, not someone who's been in who's been playing as long as Merritt Mathias has.
Right.
It was just unnecessary, poor. It cost them the win, and I mean, I know Seattle fans aren't the most enamored with Mathias, and she's had her moments. I just wonder if, if she's going to be one of those people that Laura Harvey's going to be like, well, thanks for your time, but we're moving on. So,
Yeah, that's not our first incident. So
No.
yeah, no, I think she probably is going to be one of the people that Harvey's going to look to cut loose if they don't make the playoffs because. Like I said at the beginning of the season, they were a very stable group, but that stability, led to complacency. They got complacent, and now they're trying to make up ground, and it just maybe a little too late. So, they're going. I think Harvey's going to have to mix things up in the off season if she's going to want to get back to where that team was in last year and in 2014.
yeah.
Yep, I agree with that. Yeah, and I think, like you said, Matthias probably on her last few legs with this team. I don't think we'll see her back with Seattle next season.
That would
So-
make Karen very happy, and Jackie.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. All right, guys. So we're gonna do our favorite part of the show. It's where we pick a score and we're always wrong about it. So the you pick 'em portion of the show will start now. Theme music, please. Da 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 da. Boston versus Flash. Who you got? I'm gonna go first since I'm asking myself who I got. It is Boston versus Flash. Let's go with the Flash 2-0. Don't see Boston winning this game. Jen, who you got?
Well, I try to be fair in my picks. I don't try to come off as a homer. If I think the Flash are going to lose, I'll say the Flash are going to lose.
Sorry.
Yeah,
don't lose.
not a homer pick, just a common sense pick. I'm going to go with the Flash. I don't think it's going to be a 7-1 again. Probably maybe closer to a 3-1. Don't see them getting the clean sheet again, but I think they'll take this one. I'll go with 3-1.
All right. Who do you guys got?
Obviously the Flash. But I'm gonna fingers crossed D'Angelo gets a clean sheet. So I'm gonna go 3-0 Flash. What do you got?
I think I'm gonna go with Jen. I'm gonna say 3-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and I second. Please let D'Angelo get a clean sheet. She deserves it.
I hope she gets a clean sheet, but I don't know.
For the one goal, we'll give a Dowie goal since that is one of my favorite players. That's just for me, to be nice. All right. Spirit versus Seattle. Ooh, this might be a nice one. I'm going to go with a draw because it's a cop-out. 1-1. Jen, who do you got?
Where's this game at?
Did I put it down? Let's see. Spirit v Seattle. Is it at Seattle? Let me check. I can always check. I think it's at Seattle.
I feel like it's
Oh no, it is at Washington.
It's at Washington.
It's at Washington? Okay.
Yeah, it's at Washington. Yeah, if Gabar picks the right lineup, I'm gonna go Washington. It's not gonna be a big score, 1-0.
1-0. Okay. Yeah, I keep thinking it's gonna be might be a nice, tightly good battle. 4 kicks.
Ugh. I'm gonna go 1-1.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, I want Washington to win. What?
I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna say Washington. But I'll say 2-1.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like this one's gonna be a tight one for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to pick like
I think
one
so.
team. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We got Sky Blue versus Orlando. Oh. Sky Blue 1-0. Jen, who you got?
I'm gonna go 2-0 Sky Blue.
Right
Orlando's still enough of a mess that Sky Blue will get their crap together. And
Yeah.
please, Orlando, keep losing. I want a good draft pick for the Flash.
Just looking out for yourself. 4 kicks. Who do you got?
Do it.
You know what? I'm probably wrong, but I'm gonna say Orlando,
I was gonna choose Orlando too.
and I'm gonna say 3-2.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Orlando.
Okay. All right. So 2 people chose Orlando, and then we got a little goal fest over there with the 3-2 pick. Okay.
Yeah.
Chicago versus FC Kansas City. Chicago. Next.
Yeah.
Jen.
Our game of the week right here for the first half of the week. Get to finally get the games on television after how many months later than the TV deal was announced.
That's an argument we can talk
aside,
about. Yeah.
it's at Chicago. Chicago's going to be mad about the last game they just played. I'm going Chicago. I'll go 2-0.
Yeah, I feel about 2-0, 3-0 maybe if they're pissed, really. Who you guys got?
I got Chicago, and I also think 2-0.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to roll with Chicago and watch that FC Kansas City wins it 4-0. So, Portland versus the Dash. You got this is going to be a fun game, actually.
Yeah.
A team in form versus just a team that's just like, just the dominant team right now. It looks like, man, I don't know. I'm a Dash lover. Let's go with the Dash 3-2. That'd be nice. Who you got, Jen?
This has all the potential to be a classic. I'm going to say 3-1 Dash.
Ooh, nice.
But the lone goal, I'm going to be wild and say Betos adds her second goal of her NWSL career.
Stop it. Stop this madness, please.
Why not?
4 kicks. Who you guys got?
I got Portland 4-2.
I was actually going to say the exact same thing. Yeah, man.
Jeez. It's great minds think alike.
Yeah.
Right there. I like it. Guys, well, that's everything. Be sure to tune in this Friday for that episode. But I'll let you guys first. We're going to thank you all for coming on with us. We appreciate it. Where can they find you? Social media? I know you're hip to that. MySpace?
Yes, we do have a MySpace. No. You can find us on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter. We're at 4 Kicks Podcast.
Nice.
You can
Yeah, you'll
find the
see us talk
podcast-
like them.
Oh, yeah, we also have a website.
Yes,
4kickspodcast.com.
Yeah.
You can find the website.
Other things.
And iTunes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, just give us information. I'll have Jen tweeting it all out for you guys for sure.
Great.
And then definitely ask Jen to be on the episode because she'll love to be on an episode because she does that stuff. I kind of try to.
Lord.
So.
Oh, boy.
All right, guys.
Thanks
Definitely
so much,
tune in.
guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
tune in
guys.
Friday. Check us out. Take it easy. We'll wave. Everyone waves at the end. Just wave and it's a goodbye. It's a goodbye to all. Yeah, there we go. We got people waving for no